Hi everybody, it's the Soap Man. A lot of you do it. Some of you have asked me to do it. I just got a big shipment in from Brambleberry. So here we go. I've already unboxed everything because the box is full of that little popcorn peanut stuff that gets all over creation. So, as you can see, most of my order is fragrance oils. That's the reason when I first started, I never did scent my soap because they're expensive. Some of them are hard to work with. Anyway, Brambleberry used to send a free sample with their orders, and mostly it was usually a free half-ounce sample of a fragrance oil, and a lot of what I buy on a regular basis is based on that. They've quit doing that, unfortunately. I've spent a lot of money from those free samples. I wouldn't have spent that otherwise. Got some palm oil. I know not everybody uses it, and that's understandable. That's fine. I don't use it in every soap. I use it in some soaps, but I do quite a bit without palm oil. Thing I like about these is these bags are boilable. They're also microwavable. You can put it in the microwave and melt it. You can put it in a pot of boiling water and melt it. And what I do is melt this whole thing down. And then I kept some of their smaller bags. I put it in several of these smaller bags that just take like a minute or a minute and a half to microwave and melt. So I don't have to melt this entire bag every time. Also got a pound of cocoa butter. And unlike some of the cocoa butter that's in a big block, I like this because this is in these little pieces. See that? It's in these little individual pieces, so it's so much easier to measure out. This is not deodorized. I could jump inside the bag and be in paradise. It smells like a delicious, luscious, luxurious chocolate bar. I love this stuff. When you mix this with coconut oil that hasn't been deodorized and then you melt the oils down, good night. It does not survive saponification. It does not stick in your final soap, but boy, it sure is good melting them down. My fragrance oils, I've bought a bunch of my favorites. White tea and ginger. This is a well-behaving one. Apple sage, this is always a standby because it does not accelerate, it does not discolor, doesn't rise, doesn't do anything, it sticks well in cold processed soap. Rose quartz, I don't know where they're getting rose from in the name. This is a very bright citrusy. It does accelerate trace lightly, so you have to keep that in mind. Does not discolor, and it is one of the longest sticking ones I ever have. Except for some minor acceleration, it's wonderful. Pomegranate and black currant. This is one I discovered by mistake. This is probably the perfect fragrance oil, even above my standby apple sage. Does not accelerate, does not discolor, does not rise, stays a long time in cold processed soap. I made, over a year ago, December of 17, I made a batch of soap and used this in it. Something went wrong. And the layers, it was just full of oil that did not saponify. The layers slid off and separated. So I put it into a pot, remelted it, rebatched it, and it was super heavily fatted. But even after putting it into the stove, putting it on the stove, boiling it down, remelting it, I kept a bar 13 months later. I just finished that bar this week, and this scent, after going through all that 13 months later, is still in it. This is pomegranate and black currant. Highly recommend. Bergamot and black tea. This is another one. This gives a little bit of light